Fish food. There is a difference between different varieties of fish food. If you go shopping at your local pet store or wherever you buy your fish food at, you will see a difference. Like, example would be you goldfish flakes, and then you'll see tropical flakes. Like, a difference between those would be, as an example, the fact that goldfish are omnivores, whereas tropical fish are more herbivores. So tropical fish flakes has protein in them, or more protein than goldfish flakes. But needless to say, you can feed goldfish tropical flakes if you prefer to do that. Whereas tropical fish, you can feed them goldfish flakes, but it's not really a good idea. They may not get all the nutrients and vitamins and protein they need to be happy and healthy. Um, Pellets as well, they're good, but honestly, if I had to choose between fish food, I would go with either like live, frozen, or possibly flakes. Betas prefer, like they have the beta pellets, that's not really good for them. Something I like to feed my betas would be the tropical fish flakes, as well as the, my mind kind of went blank here, the freed freeze dried bloodworms. That's it. So yeah, the freeze dried bloodworms is something I constantly feed all my fish, but specifically my betas. I do have my betas housed with other fish. I've got some with a bunch of tetras, a different variety of tetras, platies, and mollies. So really, especially mollies, they're not picky. They'll eat anything. I even got algae wafers for my algae eaters, but mollies will devour algae wafers like it's nothing. They're not picky at all. Betas can be fairly picky, but they just like to eat. Whereas cichlids, I know they have the pellets for them, which pellets are good for cichlids. Discus can be somewhat picky. I know my old discus that I got from a neighbor would eat only the tropical flakes food, but he wouldn't eat anything else. I was going to get him some discus food, but he didn't. Or he ended up dying before I can even go out and get him any. He was pretty stressed out, and all the fish that I got from my neighbors are pretty stressed, or were stressed, and only a couple of them have survived. But I would also go with things like our frozen baits. I used to get the frozen baits for some of my fish, but it got a little too expensive once my population on my mollies and everything just exploded. Like the saying goes, mollies breed like rabbits. So with handling live or frozen fish food, be sure to wash your hands, as they are dead animal or dead creatures or live creatures, and can be contaminated with whatever from wherever they're raised up at. There is no specific. Okay, for like an example, you go to a pet store and you have rosy red minnows or fathead minnows. Those are feeding fish, as well as comet goldfish. They're not well maintained like the other fish that you would buy. They're just basically thrown in a large tank and just left there to survive, fed, and they do get their tanks cleaned, but just not as often and as much as they should, like other fish. So live fish being kept together, grouped together, can be, or could have bacteria and such in them. So when you feed your fish, you could be transmitting those diseases over to the new fish or the fish that you have. And a big thing would be ick. It could be spelled ICH or ICK as the normal spellings, but basically once a fish gets ick, they're done, as well as the tank that they were in. So if you've got a tank that just happen to have ick, everything inside needs to be taken out and decontaminated, which you really can't do unless you use strongly concentrated bleach mixed with water concentrate. And the way I did mine, I thought a fish of mine had it, so I treated it out and basically left it out in the sun. After a few rinses, I live in Phoenix, so it gets hot. Other than that, fish food, when you buy them, bigger is better. You may see a small container, let's say like 2 ounces, for like $3, whereas you've got a 6 ounce for $11. So you're getting more in that 6 ounce container than you are in that 2 ounce container per ounce. So it's always good to have extra food. Other than that, choose wisely. Go with what's recommended for that fish. If you've got a mixture of fish in your tanks and they require different foods, you can buy them and mix them in with each fish, and the fish will kind of learn what they want to eat and pick out what they want whenever it's feeding time.